What's going on, folks? It's your boy, the Great DNA. Today I'm bringing something a little bit different to the table than the usual build video, because with this meta in 1.8.3, all we're really seeing is a bunch of insane glass cannons, or if you're one of the people that decided to stick with Predator or Striker, maybe a few other builds, then maybe you have some stamina stack, but the meta of stacking stamina is long gone, and now everybody seems to be a glass cannon with almost no sustain for themselves unless they're running in a team. So this build I have right here is kind of an alternate to that. It's something that's fun to play with, but I do have to forewarn, if you're not used to playing with squishy builds, like if you're not used to builds that have minimum or near minimum stamina under 400,000 toughness, this build is not for you. This build is very squishy, but at the same time it offers quite a bit of self-sustain, and it can definitely get the job done, and it outputs an insane amount of damage considering the numbers involved. So let's get right to it. What I have here is a 3-piece Tactician along with a 3-piece Banshee with a vigorous chest piece and a Ninja Bike backpack. The Banshee pieces I have on here are to take advantage of the 10% of damage out of cover, and the Tactician pieces I have on this gear set are to take advantage of the skill haste and the skill power bonuses. So going into what this build is, it's pretty much a hybrid that's sitting at 5600 firearms, 4000 stamina with a very low toughness number, and 6200 electronics. The skill power is decent. This is what I like to call a combat medic build. It's not a true tactician by any means. This should not be the main healer you run in a 4-man group, but it also, ironically, it does very well as a second healer slash DPS or a second skill player while you have someone else taking care of the pulse and the healing, the primary healing. And this build also, ironically, works very well solo. I have a lot of fun running this build solo. So I'll get right into the gear pieces, and then I'll follow it up with some some gameplay. My voice is messed up. I'm a little sick, I apologize, and apparently my words are gone too. So we're going into the vigorous chest piece, roll to electronics with health and skill haste and ammo capacity. We have 2 stamina mods on this. One is for skill power, one is for skill haste. I have a Banshee Shadow Mask rolled to firearms, it's maxed out. It has skill power rolled on the mask, as well as burn resistance. On the mod, we have a stamina skill haste mod. My knee pads are Banshee knee pads, maxed out firearms with critical hit damage, disorient resistance, shock resistance, disrupt resistance. It's up to you if you want to put bleed resistance on there, but Preds are generally bad news to builds like this anyway, unless you can manage your med kits and your heals well. On the knee pads, I apologize, we have a skill haste stamina mod and a first aid self heal mod. My Ninja Bike is rolled for electronics with skill power and bleed resistance. Firearms mod for skill haste is on here, as well as 2 6% first aid self heal mods. My Tactician gloves are rolled to electronics. They have SMG damage, skill haste, and health on kill. I'd prefer to have critical hit damage rather than health on kill, because the sustain in this set is such that 5% health is not going to save you considering how squishy you are, but the heals that you can output with this build pretty much make up for any of the issues you have with being squishy. My holster is a Tactician's holster, almost maxed out, and it has 7% skill haste on it. Now, I know you're looking at these numbers and you're like, what the hell is this build? Trust me, this hits. The house is my primary weapon on this build. This house is rolled with deadly and competent. Competent is a talent that brings this build together. This talent on a skill haste build, which this is immeasurable. It really helps output your damage. It really helps your damage output to an extent that you wouldn't believe how much damage you could do with 5600 firearms. We have an extended mag. The mods are generally the same over from what everyone is used to. Crit hit chance, rate of fire. We have a C79 scope with crit hit chance, optimal range, crit hit chance, crit hit damage. We have a loud vent break with critical damage, headshot damage, crit hit chance, and a small grip with critical damage, optimal range, and reload speed. And we have a secondary M4. This one right here has deadly, competent again, and adept. Now, with this stat distribution, you'll be free to use a lot of talents that you normally wouldn't, like fierce, adept, competent. I opted to go with competent here in the second slot because it's unlocked with my gear piece, and adept because my critical hit chance is not going to be too high with an AR without a pulse anyway. Mods are what you would expect: max size, crit hit chance, rate of fire on the magazine, critical damage, optimal range, crit hit chance on the scope. Loud vent break has critical damage, headshot damage, crit hit chance. Underbarrel has critical damage, reload speed, and accuracy. Now, we have a sidearm just with cool headed and sustained on it. Also have a low gear score 1. I'm still looking for a very low gear score 1, but those are the breaks. Now I want to show you where the damage comes into play with this build. Now we're sitting here with normal firearms. Now I've activated competent, which brings my firearms up to 20.9k with competent activated. Let's pop that pulse again. Love how the white card is not activating itself. Let's step out of combat.
Now entering a
back
safe
into
area.
combat. There we go. These are white card numbers.
Warning. Now we're exiting
So
the safe area.
19.2, pop a pulse, pop a booster shot. I'm going up to 23.5 damage on the house. Respectable damage, especially considering what build this is. Now the white card. This is where the fun comes in. I pop 1 skill, 2 skills, 27.0k damage on a house on a skill build. I melt players with this. They don't expect it at all. It goes down to 23.5 without the white card, but that's still damn respectable. And the trick to this build is all those skill haste mods I had in earlier. I'll show you. We only have 31.5% crit hit chance and 106% damage on my SMG on my house. However, when we go down to my skill haste, it's maxed out at 50%. I'm getting my skills back very quickly. 19 seconds on my booster shot. My pulse is also 19 seconds. You could add indeterminate if you wanted to cheat that a little bit more, but add on to that the fact that I have strike back, and it gets a little bit ridiculous how fast I get my skills back. Like, I can literally get my green proc, run around for like 3 minutes, and then it's back. Boom, right back into the fray. So this is where I want to show you the rest of the stat sheet. The M4 has a bad crit hit chance, crit hit damage ratio. It's only 8.5% chance, 104 on the damage. You're depending on a pulse to do a lot of the damage for you. Now this is why I said in a group you would want to let a tactician run their pulse, but this is a respectable pulse on its own. I have 22% chance and damage. That'll bring up my AR to around the 30% range. That'll almost max out my SMG, and it'll bring them both up to very respectable damage numbers. As far as the first aid, I go with booster shot when I'm alone. It gives me that 152,000 heal right there, which is pretty damn good considering I have such a small health pool in the first place. My health pool is... what is my health pool? 247,000. I could go further and put on a booster shot, an overdose, but then I wouldn't need the vigorous. I could put on maybe a Barrett's or a 5th piece. But I prefer the booster shot's damage output because it really surprised players with this. Now, if you do run this for as a team heal, you're going to want to take off those first aid self-heal mods and put on some ally heal mods. You can get this up to around 255,000 HP for ally heal. 205 is not bad. The only thing about that is you leave yourself kind of exposed, because when you pop your defib for yourself, you're not giving yourself much of a heal at all, if any. So keep that in mind. This is not really a primary medic. This is more of a combat medic build. Talents I run with are Adrenaline, Critical Save, Strike Back, and On the Move. On a team, I'll sacrifice On the Move, put on Combat Medic, and I could even take off Strike Back and put on Triage if I'm dropping my heals every couple of seconds for my teammates. I'll get my skills back faster than I would with Strike Back in the first place. So, that's pretty much the ins and outs of this build. I didn't want to make it too complicated. I'll follow it up with some gameplay. I do appreciate you coming and stopping by my channel. Please like and subscribe. This is The Great DNA. Have a great day.
Warning. Division affiliation has been disavowed. You are now marked as rogue. Now leaving the container. Attention. Supply drops will expire in 30 seconds.
You right? That's the job. Here you go, people! Get ready to die! Yellow. All of it. We.
JTF ain't welcome here.
Clean up together, boys. Let's get it over with.
Take him down.
Finish the damn job. Do it by the numbers.
Come on, make it easy on yourself.
Getting low. Need a re... I smoke. Maintain heavy fire. Lock them down. Going in.
Contamination level rising below street level. Warning. You are now entering a contaminated area. Leaving.
Oh my god. Oh, you have to go.
Running back.
Leaving contaminated area.
Nah, there's one player around me at least.
I had stopped and fought all of them. No, it's nobody behind you.
I got a fire crest on me of all players.
Oh.
Like
Never mind.
stupid. Jimmy, booster shot.
This tactician 3-piece alpha bridge.
Beat him again, Jimmy.
2-piece tactician.
He's running.
Savage gloves and
He's on the
tenacious.
other side of the wall.
Bitch.
I know he's tight.
Oh,
Here,
you-
Jimmy. Here. You see?
132.
That's a shield,
Nigga,
bro.
why you trying to check what you?
Who blew
what
up
you
their
got on there?
station?
I'm gonna say blew
good
up my
shit, good
station.
shit, good shit, good. No, that's good, that's good.
I got the Nomad down.
We should go clear this.
Yes, I can see him on the map.
Dude melted me before with this tackling.
Hey,
Beast, I'm coming to you, bro.
I'm coming.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it. Oh God, I don't make it. Thank God he's not a real friend.
There's another guy trying to head you off at Midtown.
Get down, baby boy.
That nigga threw the most timed grenade. Here's the heal. Right.
PlayStation